What's up YouTube, this is Sam from Tyke Schooling, and today we're going to talk about the cranial nerves that exit from the cranial cavity. We're going to talk about all the 12 cranial nerves and from where they exit from the cranial cavity. I'll be explaining all the exits through this, making a diagram on this page, and I'll be explaining using this page. This is a page of Gray's Anatomy. So from the Gray's Anatomy, you have to follow this picture. If you're using a book and follow my diagram, you will understand it clearly, the exit point of all the cranial nerves. So I'm sorry, I'm having a flu. So first off, we'll start by making the boundary. So consider it as the cut section from above your head. Alright, so we have removed your upper cap of your head, as your skull, and this is it. So on there we got your small nose, your ears. I don't know how to make ears, so this is your ears. You got a little bit of hair down back there, little hair. So right, I'll be changing the color. So consider this one as cribriform plate. From down here you got cribriform. Before making cribriform plate, let me make sella turcica, and this is how it makes. So this is like it, and this is here. This is it, dividing the skull, the interior part. So this is your anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, and the posterior cranial fossa, and these are your cranial fossas. And from in the anterior cranial fossa you got these small hollow openings. We have talked in a previous lecture. These are called the cribriform plate. Alright, so this is like this. Alright, so we'll be talking about the nerves in the final phase. First, let me explain to you this diagram. So on the sides you got big bulging eyes, and right down there you got eyes down there, right? This is your cribriform plate, this is your eyes, and you got a small opening down here. This is a small opening down here. This is called your optic canal. Alright, this is your optic canal. I'm not labeling it, I'm just telling you this is your optic canal, right? This is your cribriform plate, and this large opening, which is right down here, is again on the same other side, right? And this large opening is called superior orbital fissure, and besides superior orbital fissure you got this foramen rotundum, right? From foramen rotundum, which is a round shaped, and down here you got the foramen ovale, kind of oval shape. Similar here you got foramen rotundum, and down here you got foramen ovale. So you have the not similar together. And this is your foramen lacerum, which is filled up by cartilage. In future, from ear you get the internal ear, middle ear, and internal ear, and from there you get the, what I call this one, your internal auditory canal. Alright, so back there you got your big foramen magnum, and on side you got other openings. So right down there, they're not that much big, but I made it in the picture. So this is your called the jugular foramen. So this is your jugular foramen, right? So I hope we understand the lecture. And there's another opening down here, small openings beside the foramen magnum on the sides. These are called the hypoglossal canal for the nerve, which we're going to talk about in just a bit. Hypoglossal canal. Alright, so you hope you understand the diagram. So first, simplify it. Let me name them again. This is your cribriform plate, eyes, optic canal, superior orbital fissure, foramen rotundum, foramen ovale, foramen lacerum, and internal auditory meatus. This is your jugular foramen, and this is your hypoglossal canal, and this biggest opening is called your foramen magnum. So now we're talking about the nerves. In the nerves, what we're gonna do, we'll be using, we will be talking from first nerve to the last nerve, like first from olfactory nerve to the last final nerve. So the first nerve we have talked previously is over olfactory nerve. So olfactory nerve the boy which is called olfactory nerve actually exit out from your, what we call this, cribriform. This is your first, and this exit out from your cribriform plate. If you remember a diagram from our last lecture, you have a good idea how this structure is made. If I show you in this picture, you can see this. Let me find it for you. Alright, so this is it. So this is your cribriform plate, how these nerves join together to make a tract and finally go to the to attach in the cortex. So this is the first nerve, which is your olfactory nerve, which comes out from your cribriform plate or exit in from the cranial cavity outside, which is through the cribriform plate. The second one, from it you go back, the second one is your optic nerve, which exit from your optic canal. So this is your second nerve, which exits from optic canal, right? And the third nerve, which is your oculomotor nerve, it exits from your from your superior orbital fissure. Your fourth nerve also exit from what we call the superior orbital fissure. The fifth A, I will write 5A because 5A means it's the ophthalmic part, 5B means maxillary part, 5C means mandibular part. So 5A, which is the maxillary part, exit from what we call the superior orbital fissure. So again, the sixth, which is your abducent nerve, also exit through the what we call the superior orbital fissure. So there are three main nerves and one branch of your fifth nerve. Now we move on to 5B. 5B exit from your foramen rotundum. This is your 5B, foramen rotundum, and from foramen ovale your 5C exit. Alright? Very simple, very easy to remember. You can remember them from coming up to down through this diagram. Now you move towards the seventh nerve. The seventh nerve, which is your facial nerve, exit through your what we call the internal auditory meatus. So this is your seventh nerve exiting from the internal auditory meatus. Number 8th nerve is which is your vestibulocochlear nerve, also exit from your what we call the internal auditory meatus. Alright, now we move on to talk about the 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th nerve. Remember the 9th nerve, which is your glossopharyngeal nerve, exit from your jugular foramen. So this is the big jugular foramen. So from here 9th nerve exits, your 10th nerve also exit, your 11th nerve, all three nerves, 9, 10 and 11, exit through your big jugular foramen. And finally the hypoglossal canal. Through hypoglossal canal, the 12th nerve exit out of the cranial cavity. So these are very simplified versions, this is a very simplified diagram to make you understand how the nerve exit through from the cranial cavity, outside the cranial cavity, or how they exit. So